Michigan Magazine is kept on the road by our many Michigan friends. Cops and Donuts Bakery, downtown Clare, a winning combination. Cops and Donuts. The Michigan-made rebounding mailbox pole. Never again worry about the winter snowplow taking out your mailbox with this ingenious rebounding pole. Your mailbox takes a hit and keeps coming back year after year. Call now or visit their website, toughmailboxes.com. The spirit has returned to the historic, newly remodeled Kerry James restaurant in Cummins. Bring that special person for a delicious meal out, or bring the family for an amazing dining experience. The new owners have expanded seating and developed a delicious menu second to none. Stop in for a quick bite or experience the delicacies being prepared for you now at the new Kerry James of Cummins. On this week's Michigan Magazine, we visit Daniel Feldhauser of Grayling, who creates incredible masterpieces, one dot at a time. Then we have an update on Coopersville Old West Town expansion and its mission of bringing back the Old West to the kids and kids at heart. It's all coming up on Michigan Magazine. Cops and Donuts Bakery, downtown Clare, what began as a crazy idea among 9 police officers to purchase the historic Clare City Bakery quickly became an international phenomenon, carrying on a Michigan tradition with delicious donuts, pies, pastries, breads, original coffee, and more, plus a full menu at the new adjacent traffic stop diner. Downtown Clare, a winning combination. Cops and Donuts. Experience the beauty, artistry, and taste of Northern Michigan. Come to Amish Country Natural Products on Mount Tom Road, north of Mile, just off M33. From arts and crafts to fresh foods and vegetables, all natural, all local, all good. Stop by and get acquainted with Amish Country Natural Products, 1454 North Mount Tom Road, Mile. Something special's cooking, hot and delicious. Indulge yourself at Morning at Maggie's in Bay City. Omelets, frittatas, hotcakes, and more. Make every day special with a stop at Morning at Maggie's for breakfast or lunch on Saginaw in Bay City. Far away from Michigan's urban areas, where pavement meets wilderness tracts of forests and expansive meadows, is another Michigan, a quite inspiring Michigan. On this excursion into rural Michigan, we slipped down County Road 612 near Grayling in Crawford County. A meadow-lined roadway scattered with memories and remnants of former family farms. Pretty much all that remains on this stretch of road is the early morning sounds of robins, chickadees, and the wind rushing through the white pines and maples. Here's the perfect spot to recharge your spirit with the reality of the present, far away from the distractions. It's also the home of artist Daniel P. Feldhauser, a home that's been part of his family for generations. Here are the surroundings he finds the most pleasant and conducive to safely releasing his creative spirit. And what wonderful work he does. Incredibly, though, his method is not for the faint of heart or the impatient. Many of Daniel's finished pieces are the result of placing one dot at a time onto the paper. Only upon close inspection can you detect the method. At arm's length, the culmination of these dots result in nearly photographic renditions of realism.
This particular piece I did probably, I think it was one of the first major ones I did, and it took me the better part of a year.
So this is a fairly established art form. I mean, this has been around for many years.
It has. And you have a lot of artists, French artists particularly around the turn of the century, that use dots of color on huge paintings. And these things take forever. Usually I work on I've got 4, 5, 6 things going at one time, because to do just one, unless it's a commission and somebody wants it right away, your eyes and your mind start wandering. But
very close work, I'll bet, and very fine work.
That's why I had to go to limited edition prints, because to sell one, if you've got maybe 1,000 hours in it, and you charge $2 an hour, and people say, well, $2,000, it seems a lot. But if you go to prints, that way you can remark prints and color them, which I've started to do a little bit, put some watercolor in them and things. Someone were to ask me, when I became interested in art and when I started drawing, I'd probably have to say, when did I take my first breath or something. It's not anything you could pinpoint in your life. It's something that you just always do. Right. And of course there's people that helped me along the way. My Aunt Marge was particularly talented, and there was an older gentleman here in Grayling, Mr. Sales, who, when I was 10 years old, was probably in his 70s or 80s, who I'd go down after school with my drawings, and he'd critique them and help me, and you know, he owned a little dime store in town. So there's a series of, you know, there's always people in your life that help you along the way. I don't, you know, even if you're an athlete or a figure skater or a baseball player, there's somebody that gives you tips and things. And I think it's like Thomas Edison once said that creativity or genius is 10% inspiration and 90% perspiration. You just, and I think the feeling of never being totally satisfied with anything that you do. In other words, you never reach that top of that Mount Everest being total. I mean, I've never really done anything that, like, really, you know, I've seen things that I've done that I like better than others, but never really anything that I would call like a bell ringer. Right. Suppose that's a better way to be than being satisfied with everything you do, because there's always that pinnacle. So I've had people help me along the way, and I had taken some commercial art classes at Ferris for a year, and then I got into education and teaching. I really didn't start doing art again until probably the 80s, late 80s. Actually, everything you see here is the accumulation of probably the last 10 years. Original drawings, original pen and inks.
And I see in a lot of your themes here, a few of your themes, a lot to do with history and some of the past. And
yeah,
is this kind of romantic with you?
Yeah, I'm very interested in history. You see from a lot of my lake boats and lighthouses and types of things that I do. Historical subjects around the state of Michigan, and things in Americana, I guess is a term that I would...
And there's also a love for the wilderness and outdoor animals, I see, too, also.
Well, coming originally from this part of the country, you would expect that,
It's a lot of inspiration there, too. Yeah, so your life has pretty much been a series of transitions with different avenues opening up, and then doing something you really like, probably. This is... You've got to have a love for this intense work.
It's sometimes you do things for other people that they really like, that maybe you're doing it, and you do it to please yourself, but in a sense you're doing it to please other people too. You know, so there's some self-gratification involved for not solely selfish reasons, but you do things that please other people too, and that pleases me too. So.
And I tell you what really does amaze me is the process you do here with granite. What does that involve? I mean,
well, this is something that was, you know, as we were talking earlier, when you hearing that sometimes things happen accidentally that you don't plan on. I sort of fell into this. This is a method called etching, and this is a 12 by 12 piece of granite tile, which is actually a piece of floor tile, polished. Most of it comes from Africa and India. There's not too much that's, there's some that's domestic and American here from out east and down south, but basically it's a technique where, again, if you look at the portrait here, which this is a sample I did for St. Helen Monument, and I do markers, which are flat markers, and huge granites. I mean, I've done some up to 5 feet across, weigh 3,000 or 4,000 pounds, that are pretty big. The deer scenes and things are popular. Basically, I start out the same way. Everything starts with a basic drawing. I don't care if you're doing pencil, pen and ink, the granite etching. Basically starts out with a sketch, and I simply tape that, which is what I did for the portrait here. Try to perfect the drawing as well as I can so I know where my lights and darks are. Because unlike pen and ink, where you're putting black on white, okay, you're putting black ink on white paper, or dark pencil on white paper. This is just the opposite. I don't know if you're familiar with scratch point, with scratching off. Right. The secret here is not to take too much off.
What amazes me too is that you can't even feel it. You can't even tell it's right there.
It looks like there's a picture there, but when you feel it, close, but yeah, you can feel a little bit here, but not much. So,
and that's going to last centuries.
Yeah. Another thing that we're getting into down there on some of the monuments and things is taking a gray granite or a lighter colored stone and carving out a 12 by 12 section, and people can have their pets done. We do custom. We do people's a lot of their up north places with deer scenes. I've got bear scenes. I've done people's pickups. I've done, you name it, and I've done it on a tombstone, just about Goofy, Mickey, whatever they want. So we draw this up ahead of time and get them to approve it. Then I go ahead and do my drawing. I think the ones I like to do the most are the wildlife and the deer, because a deer is a deer is a deer. You know, when you're doing a portrait, you really have to capture particularly the eyes and the features of the person, and it's tedious, and I would probably spend more time on it. The wildlife I have a little bit more fun with, birds and things like that too. So, but
what would be your ultimate masterpiece or project that you have on your mind right now? Have you got any ideas in which way you're going to be going with this? Or Or is that pretty much day by day and what the feeling is at the moment? Or?
Right now, it's right. Well, I have another ongoing project here I've been working on. It's been in my mind. Like, things are usually in my mind for 3 or 4 years down the road before I ever start on them. My mind is, I don't know, victim of attention deficit disorder or something, where you go to bed at night and you got 9 things on your mind. Doing a series of Great Lakes boats here, which are at this stage are just, I've done the drawings on them. Now that is going to be a series of boats from the Wyandotte Chemical Company, which I'm planning on putting on one large poster. There were 4 boats that were part of the old Wyandotte Chemical fleet, the Alpena, the Conneaut, the Huron, and the Wyandotte, and I want to do all 4. Of course, they're going to be I'm not sure if they're going to be watercolored or tinted with watercolored pencil, all 4 on one as you look down. So these will be, the originals will be photographed and then printed on maybe a poster size.
Michigan is so unique in its ability to create different subjects and history. I mean, there's the maritime history, we've got the lumbering history, the farming history, and we've got the wilderness outside. There's so much here.
But I walk out here in the summertime, in the spring, and there's something different every day. I mean, something as simple as looking across the road at a fence post with a couple birds sitting on it, or walking down the road and looking at an old building or an old barn. Particularly fascinated by old barns. I think it's kind of sad when you see somebody puts up a new metal pole barn, which is about as, to me, like the old classic, traditional, historical.
They had a lot of character to those old
yeah,
buildings.
they do.
Slowly coming down.
Yep.
Our morning with Daniel Feldhauser culminated with a quick tour of his living room gallery, which left us with a sense of gratitude for his ability in preserving with his talent slices of the world around us in a virtual time capsule on paper, an incredible realism that only his disciplined talent could produce. A big thanks to Daniel Feldhauser of Grayling for sharing his talent with all of us at Michigan Magazine. Michigan Magazine is being brought to you in part by It's Back and Making Memories for a New Generation. The Rustic Inn of Lewiston, now open with hot, delicious food, your favorite beverage, and an atmosphere that'll keep you coming back to make new memories and new friends. The new Rustic Inn on Red Oak Road, just south of Lewiston. Hale Hardware, your do-it center in Hale, Michigan. Much more than a regular hardware store, providing everything you need for whatever your project is, along with a knowledgeable sales staff to get her done. Serving Northern Michigan since 1946. Hale Hardware, south of M65 at Ainsley in Hale. Hingeman Acres, Canoe Livery and Resort on M33, just north of Mayo. Catering to the outdoor enthusiasts. Cabins, canoes, kayaks, rafts, and more. Daytime or overnight trips along the world-famous Asabo River. A family getaway for over 75 years. To merely dream a dream is one thing, but to make those dreams a reality is something else. Spike Cooper is a dreamer and a doer, creator of a dream we know now as Coopersville, USA, a recreated Old West town. From the imagination of one man, a theme park of sorts, open to all, young or old, rich or poor, the gates swing wide open at no charge, where one will step back in time to the Old West. We followed Spike and the crew through the early years and continue to bring amazing news from Coopersville. On this day, we see Spike preparing for the upcoming summer season with new additions for an expected exciting vacation season. Spike tells us what's new.
We've added on to the barbershop, we've added on to the funeral parlor, we've got our own chuck wagon, we got the schoolhouse painted. We are just having a great time here. We built a special building just for the wolf pack.
We saw that. That's great.
And I think it's going to be coming to them. But the big thing is we still want to emphasize, come and have a good time.
There you go.
That's what Cooperville is all about. A good time for everybody.
And I see you're really doing an outreach for the kids to get them involved in the Old West and how it was. I mean, we got a group of over 200 kids coming in.
Right. Kids are our main goal. We want them to get a part of the Old West, but we could not do it without the help of everybody that's helped us so much.
Isn't that something? The community is really coming together. And,
yes, it is.
And rallying around something that really is going to be a tradition for a lot of kids. They're going to look back and they're going to remember all these things that have happened here.
Sure will.
Yeah, and the great thing about it is there's no admission charge, so don't feel bad if you can't afford to come here. You can afford to.
Anybody can afford to come to Cooperville.
That's right. That's right.
We got some new shirts we're going to be selling this year. We got We just got a lot of things going on, and everybody wants to come out and have a great time.
I see you've got some a museum now going on.
Yep, we got a museum. We're adding things to it daily.
Okay. So
We got Annie Oakley, we got Roy Rogers, we got Rooster Cogburn, we got Calamity Jane, and we just keep going.
it amazes me how far you guys have come from just a kind of a sparkle in the eye.
There you go.
A dream there, and it's all come to
It is a dream
reality.
come true for me.
Yeah, it's something.
I've always dreamt of this, and now I have my dream.
There you go.
A lot of people never get to live their dream.
There you
I
go.
do every day.
On this day, we were excited to meet Lori Haas, Montmorency County Library Director, who told us of how excited her library reading program kids were after completing library set goals for reading. The kids were coming to Coopersville, USA. Alrighty, Lori, we are at Coopersville Old West Town, and we've got something special coming up in August for the kids. Tell us a little bit about what's going to be happening here at Coopersville.
We're going to be having the Library Summer Reading Program party for all the kids in the county who participate and their families. They complete a 6-week program through the library and earn stamps in their reading logs, and when they get the reading logs all filled out, they get rewarded and get to bring their families to a giant party here. We'll have mocktails in the saloon and a penny candy store and a high striker game and a fire eater and a sword swallower and a picnic lunch, a whole bunch of fun things.
And it's all going to be here in the kind of a theme of the Old West.
The Old West theme. The kids will all have cowboy hats and bandanas.
Boy.
It'll be very neat.
So the kids did pretty good in their reading, didn't they?
Yes.
Tell us
yes.
a little bit about their accomplishments.
Every year they sign up at the end of the school year, so right about now the paperwork's going home, and they sign up at the local branch of the Montmorency Library in either Atlanta, Hillman, and Lewiston.
Okay.
And they're challenged to complete different activities, some of which are reading and educational and art projects and civic things, and when they earn 12 stamps, they turn in their log and get to come to this great party. It takes all summer to complete.
Oh my goodness. And that's going to be here at the Coopersville Old West Town. And hopefully we'll be here with cameras to take a little shot of what's happening with the kids too. Now the library, of course, it takes a lot of enthusiasm, and besides, your willingness to work hard and the kids to have a good time and learn something about the libraries and what's involved, but it takes money, doesn't it? I mean, we've got something coming up. We want to let everybody know that we have a millage coming up. Tell us a little bit about what's that.
Well, it's a millage, and our last millage expired, and this will be a reauthorization, not technically a renewal, but a replacement for the same amount. It'll be 6/10 and run for 4 years, just exactly like the last millage was.
Okay.
And you can vote for that on August 2nd.
And this takes care of pretty much a lot of the expenses at the library?
It's a major funding for the library. Over 85% of our revenue comes from the millage.
Oh my goodness, oh my goodness. Now the system that you are involved with, the library system, it has an outreach into what counties now?
We're primarily for Montmorency County, but we have a co-op that runs all throughout northern Michigan.
Okay, so if you're interested in bringing the kids and the entire family to these libraries, can you give us a little bit about the hours and where you're located?
Yes, we're open Mondays. All the branches have the same hours. We're open Monday 10 to 6 and Tuesday through Friday 10 to 5, and Saturdays 9 to 12. So that's in Atlanta, Hillman, and Lewiston. And you don't have to be a county resident to participate in the program.
And do you still have to get a library card?
You don't have to, but heck, if you're going to be there, you should probably get one.
There you go. It's a tradition. We're standing in front of the Coopersville School, and libraries have come a long way since then, haven't they?
They sure have. Sure have.
Are you guys online on the internet?
We are.
Okay.
www.mountmorencylibrary.com.
Okay, and do you have any information about the village on there at all? Or?
We don't yet, but we will.
Okay, so if anybody's interested, they should check it out and help support a great cause and keep this tradition alive. This is something that should be continued for, a lot of people say libraries, are going to the wayside, but no. There's nothing like going to a library and getting into the atmosphere of books and surrounding yourself with all sorts of adventures.
That's right. We have a lot of non-traditional library services, e-books and internet and all those things that the new millennium kids like too.
There you go. Well, thank you, Lori, for sharing, and we'll stay in touch, and congratulations to all those kids.
Thank you.
The Cedar Tavern and Grill of Lupton, where friends come to meet friends and families come for delicious food and a wholesome atmosphere. Come relax with your favorite beverage or bring the crew for a great meal and live entertainment. It's happening now at the Cedar of Lupton. Clemix Sales and Service on Mapes Road, west of Mile, your complete recreational vehicle sales and service connection. Visit their beautiful showroom of new and pre-owned ATVs, lawnmowers, power equipment, snowmobiles, utility vehicles, and more. Clemix Sales and Service is also the home of the American-made Victory motorcycle line on display at Clemix on Mapes Road, Mile. Well, thanks for joining us. Here's the phrase of the week. The Wild West comes alive at the new Wild Frontier Fun Park in Cummins. Send the phrase along to us as soon as possible, and you could be the winner of something Michigan. Have a great week, and we'll see you next week on Michigan Magazine. We'd like to thank all those that help keep Michigan Magazine on the road. Cops and Donuts Bakery, downtown Clare, a winning combination. Cops and Donuts. Rose Valley Winery on Beechwood Road in Rose City. See what thousands are raving about, creating a delicious variety of award-winning Michigan wines. Stop by and taste for yourself. The taste of Michigan is yours at Rose Valley Winery.